Wait, you're his boss now. Jared's voice cracked mid-laugh, eyes darting between me and the contract on the table. I didn't answer. Just slid the paper toward him with my company's logo stamped in the corner. McCarthy and Stone. My name, Rachel Stone, etched right under, founder and CEO. He stared at it, blank, then scoffed. So, this is what you've been up to? This startup thing? I nodded.
Calm. Silent.
You used to sell planners on Etsy. Now you think you're Steve Jobs. The conference room was quiet except for the ticking of the wall clock. My assistant, Tara, stood frozen by the door. Even the air seemed embarrassed by what he'd said. Jared leaned back, arms crossed. This whole meeting is just to show me up, isn't it? Still, I said nothing. My lawyer passed him a pen. I watched his hands tremble. Because the truth was, I had built the empire he used to mock. And now he needed a job. From me. I wasn't supposed to be the one who made it. Growing up in Springfield, Missouri, in a 3-bedroom ranch-style home with squeaky floorboards and a rusted mailbox, the Stone family narrative was simple. Jared was the golden boy. I was the helper. He played varsity football. I packed his cleats. He got grounded for wrecking Dad's truck. I stayed up all night fixing his essay, so he wouldn't fail English. He brought home trophies. I brought home silence. Mom called him our future star. Dad joked that I was the family accountant because I liked organizing grocery receipts. Everyone laughed. I didn't. By the time I was 16, I was already tutoring Jared in algebra while building my first digital planner on an ancient Dell. No one asked how I learned Photoshop, or how I stayed up until 2 a.m. teaching myself coding because YouTube was the only teacher I had. Thanksgiving always had one chair for his success stories and one for my pies. When Jared got into Arizona State, there were balloons. When I got a full ride to a state school for business, Dad said, "That's practical. You've always been the practical one." I swallowed dreams in silence, replaced applause with applause for others. That was the dynamic. Even when I launched my online productivity brand years later, just a few digital downloads and a blog, Jared laughed. Planner girls at it again. He'd post on Facebook with a crying laugh emoji. It stung. But I never replied. At family dinners, I'd quietly excuse myself to take client calls in the hallway. Mom would lower her voice and say, "Work isn't everything, Rachel. You should relax. Maybe date more." Jared had failed 2 businesses by then. No one teased him. No one ever asked what I was building. Until suddenly people had to ask. Because what I built started to matter. And Jared? Well, he started calling. The moment I'll never forget came during our father's 60th birthday. It was supposed to be a surprise party, well, for Dad. But for me, the real surprise came 2 hours before the event. I was already in Chicago for a business conference and thought it'd be nice to fly down early, just to be there. I'd even arranged a custom cake shaped like a toolbox. Dad's a retired mechanic. I sent it to Jared's address, since he was hosting the party. But then my phone lit up. Jared.
Hey.
About tonight. Maybe just sit this one out. I stared at the screen, rereading it 3 times. Me. Wait, what? Jared. It's just the vibe is more close friends. You know, people Dad really connects with. People Dad really connects with? I was his daughter. I didn't reply. I didn't cry either. I just felt my stomach cave in like a sinkhole. The cake I'd sent never even made it to the table. 3 hours later, I got a group photo on our family group chat. Jared, his wife, our cousins, even Mom. No mention of me. No missing you message. Just a happy birthday caption and confetti. The worst part? Mom texted me separately. "We figured it'd be too much with your schedule. Thought we were doing you a favor." A favor. Being erased was now called a favor. I didn't fight. I didn't correct them. I just sat on the hotel bed, fully dressed in the outfit I bought for the party, and something inside me shifted. The need to be included?
Gone.
And in that silence, a new version of me quietly stood up. After that night, I didn't make any announcements. No dramatic exit. No long-winded messages. Just silence. I stopped texting the family group chat. I stopped forwarding job openings to Jared, the ones I used to handpick for him. I didn't send money for mom's emergency dentist visits anymore either. Quietly, I unsubscribed from being their emotional ATM. I unfollowed Jared and his wife on Instagram. Not blocked, just gone. No comments on baby pictures. No likes on family barbecues. I deleted Dad's number too. That one hurt. But I realized he hadn't called me in over a year. I'd always been the one dialing, checking, giving. So I stopped. I focused on my job, my apartment, my peace. I began learning to cook, not for guests, but for me. My mornings felt lighter. My evenings quieter. And yet, for the first time, I wasn't lonely. I realized my silence wasn't punishment. It was power. No more explanations. No more proving I belonged. I just chose myself. And the world didn't end. In fact, something in me finally began. 3 months passed. One afternoon, I got a random LinkedIn message from someone named Lauren Bennett. Hi Olivia, not sure if you remember me. I was your server at the Denver Tech Summit last year. You left me the kindest handwritten note and tipped me $200 after overhearing my dad was in the hospital. I never forgot that. Just wanted to say, I've been following your work ever since. You're amazing. Thank you. I blinked at the screen. I did remember her. She'd served me breakfast while on the verge of tears. I had no idea she'd remember me, let alone reach out. A week later, I was invited to speak on a panel about women in leadership. After my talk, someone from the audience stopped me. You're Olivia Carter? She asked. I nodded. I had no idea you were the same Olivia who launched the Hope Bridge Fund. My little sister was one of your scholarship kids. She's in med school now. My throat caught. She hugged me. A real, full-hearted hug. In front of everyone. And slowly, these moments kept happening. People I barely remembered, people I'd once helped quietly through mentorship, kindness, encouragement, started resurfacing. It was like the world outside my family finally had eyes. Then, my cousin Mason, who'd always kept quiet at family dinners, DM'd me on Instagram. Hey, I just saw your interview on CNBC. Honestly, I owe you an apology. I used to think you were trying too hard. But now I see. You were carrying everyone, and they never said thank you. But I saw it. Just wanted you to know. I didn't reply. I just stared at the message and let the weight of it wash over me. Maybe I wasn't invisible. Maybe I had never been. It started with a text from my mom. Mom, saw your article in Forbes. You looked beautiful, Liv.
Proud of you.
Let's catch up soon?
I didn't reply.
Then came the group message from the family thread, the one I hadn't checked in nearly a year. Uncle Dave. Olivia. Big star now, huh? We were just talking about you the other night. Let's do a family dinner soon. No hard feelings, right? It made me nauseous. These were the same people who sat in silence when my brother mocked me. The same people who shrugged when I left the group, when I pulled my support, when I disappeared. And now, they wanted to reset. The next week, I got a call from Jake. I didn't answer.
So he emailed me. Hey.
I know things got messy, but I've been going through some stuff and could use some guidance. Maybe even a job. You've built something real, Liv. I respect that. Let me know if there's space on your team. It was surreal. The brother who laughed at my dreams, now asking to work for me. Then, Aunt Marianne texted me. Can you ask Lauren to delete that LinkedIn post? It's getting a lot of attention, and it's making your mom feel bad. We're just trying to protect the family's name. That was it. It was never about love. It was always about control. Image. Narrative.
Power.
But they couldn't reach me anymore. Not where I'd gone. I didn't reply to Jake's email. I didn't call my mom back. But one evening, as I was wrapping up a late investor call, my assistant, Carmen, knocked on my office door. Hey Liv, someone sent this for you. It came by courier, not mail. It was a handwritten letter, on real paper, sealed in a soft blue envelope. I recognized the last name instantly. Parker. I opened it, expecting a formality. But as I read the letter, my throat tightened. Dear Olivia, you won't remember me, but I remember you. 10 years ago, you spoke to my high school business class in Milwaukee. You were just starting out, no team, no funding. But you stayed late, answered questions, and told me I could do it, even when I didn't believe I could. You gave me your card. I never emailed, but I kept it. I graduated MIT last year, launched my first app. And when they asked me who my role model was, I said your name. Thank you for seeing me back when I felt invisible.
You changed the course of my life.
Gratefully, Tasha Parker. I read it 3 times. Then once more out loud. I didn't realize I'd been holding my breath. A single tear fell. The first one in months.
Not from pain but release.
It wasn't just about Forbes or the VC deals or the shiny office view. It was this. To know I mattered, not just because of what I built, but because of who I chose to be. Even when no one was watching. Carmen peeked in again, smiling gently. You okay? I nodded, holding the letter to my chest. I'm better than okay, I whispered. It was a quiet Sunday morning when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. Through the peephole I saw him.
Jake.
He looked uncomfortable in his wrinkled jacket, holding something that resembled a peace offering. A box of cookies? A folder? I opened the door slowly, standing in the frame, but not stepping out. Liv, hey, he said, voice unsure. I know it's been a while. I just wanted to talk. I didn't respond. I waited. I was thinking, he continued. Maybe we could reset. You know?
Clear the air.
Start over. The irony. The same man who once told me I was wasting my life, now asking to be part of it again. I brought my resume too, he added, lifting the folder with a sheepish smile. Heard you're hiring for ops. I figured. Jake, I said quietly. He paused. Hope in his eyes. I'm not angry, I told him. And I don't hate you. His shoulders dropped slightly. But the answer is no. Silence. I didn't explain further.
I didn't yell.
I didn't justify.
Just no.
He stood there, blinking, searching my face for something, softness, guilt, anything. But I'd already made peace. I gently closed the door. Not with bitterness. With closure. And that door quite literally stayed shut. I used to believe love meant proving myself over and over. That if I just worked hard enough, succeeded enough, gave enough, they'd finally see me. Finally respect me. But here's the truth. Some people aren't blind. They just don't want to see you. And when you shine too brightly for people who've built their identity on dimming others, they'll call your light arrogance. They'll call your success luck. They'll call your dreams delusion. But that doesn't mean you stop. If you're watching this, and you've been the black sheep, the overlooked one, the underestimated dreamer, please know this. You are not too much. You are not a burden. You are not crazy for wanting more. You're just too real for people who pretend. Let them go. Let the silence speak. And when you finally rise, do it with grace. Because one day they might come knocking. And you'll be able to say, without anger, without drama,
no.
And mean it.